So now we've got this next wave of AI. Like what do we do? And so I do really focus a lot on how AI is shifting from this tool that we type at and prompt to
Right.
a kind of participant on our teams and in our
Ah,
businesses. And
okay.
so I'm using this lens of participant or participation
Hmm.
and connoting and referencing even the need for belonging and inclusion and all this in the workplace that humans
Right.
experience,
Hmm.
and extending that to AI agents because they're starting to be members of the team, right? So, what is it to include these agents and to have them be sort of connected participants on the team, right?
Right.
Is there a concept of belonging broadly that can apply not just to human
Hmm.
contributors, but AI agentic contributors? I don't know if I told you, or well, maybe you heard, or
Hmm.
my session got elevated to a featured session,
What?
which is, yeah,
Congratulations.
it's very exciting.
Wow.
What if the future of work wasn't about more tools, but more humanity? In this episode of Underrated to Unstoppable, I'm joined by Neil Redding, speaker, futurist, and one of the sharpest, warmest thinkers I know. From AI to belonging to what it really means to be enough, we dive into the intersections of tech, leadership, and selfhood. Neil shares why the most powerful shift isn't digital, it's personal. This conversation is smart, soulful, and full of unexpected laughter. Let's get into it.
My real focus right now is on South by Southwest. So I
Right.
don't know if I told you, or well, maybe you heard, or
Hmm.
I shared with the community in one of the calls, but my session got elevated to a featured session,
What?
which is, yeah,
Congratulations.
it's very exciting.
Wow. What's your talk about for South by Southwest?
It is about, well, the title is The Auto-Evolving Business,
Uh-huh.
AI's Agentic Near Future.
Oh my
And
gosh. Wow.
so it's about AI and
Hmm.
agents and essentially how, as they start to roll out, they
Hmm.
offer an opportunity for us to evolve or set up our businesses so that they not just eventually automatically evolve at the
Hmm.
speed of the future, at the speed of change, which of course is just
Right.
faster than ever, but also beginning with the end in mind. If we really want a thriving, abundant future for humanity,
Hmm.
how would we get there? And so I kind of weave this narrative of
Right.
everything is made of ecosystems, which is a theme
Hmm.
that I've spoken about since you and I
Right.
met, and businesses are ecosystems, and
Hmm.
how can we use this technology and what's happening, what it enables to bring our businesses more into symbiosis with what
Right.
nature is doing on this planet, you know?
Hmm.
And so it's a vision of a symbiotic,
Right.
thriving future for humanity on Earth through the lens of AI and spatial computing at the moment and how technology can help us
Wow.
realize that vision. So
Okay, so that sounds, Neil, really high level. So dumb it down for me. So
does it make sense though?
yeah, I mean, from a
It's abstract.
yeah, it's abstract. From an intellectual perspective, it makes sense. But if someone just said to me, "Hey, can you tell me what Neil is talking about?" I'd say, "Well, kind of AI and the future, and that's probably all that I could describe, right?" Right. And I'd say, and something about the symbiotic nature of business and nature and AI and
Hmm.
what that all means, for the future. But that would be the
Yeah.
best I could do.
So here's a simpler way to describe it. Like if I'm just speaking to business leaders,
Mhm.
right? Like, and
Mhm.
so all business leaders now are really focused on AI and particular AI agents, right? Which is a big part of
Right.
this conversation this year.
Hmm.
What do
Hmm.
we do about it? I mean, most
Right.
businesses have barely scratched the surface of even
Hmm.
like what can we do with ChatGPT to like make our
Right.
document creation better or PowerPoint creation
Right.
faster or whatever it is. So now we've got this next wave of AI. Like what do we do? And so I do really focus a lot on how AI is shifting from this tool that we type at and prompt to
Right.
a kind of participant on our teams and in our
Ah,
businesses. And
okay.
so I'm using this lens of participant or participation
Hmm.
and connoting and referencing even, the need for belonging and inclusion and all this in the workplace that
Right.
humans experience.
Hmm.
And extending that to AI agents because they're starting to be members of the team, right? So what is it to include these agents and to have them be sort of connected participants on the team, right?
Right.
Is there a concept of belonging broadly that can apply not just to human
Mhm.
contributors, but AI agentic contributors? Does that make sense?
So
So
it
it's
does,
like,
but are you now humanizing AI?
yeah, well, not humanizing, but like thinking of it as as a new species essentially
Right.
is what is what I've been presenting to people the last couple of
Uh-huh.
months, and people are like, "Ooh, that's people like this," as
Well, yeah,
speakers,
I
right? We got
mean,
to think about like what's memorable, what's interesting, what's
yeah.
provocative, and so AI is a new species, right? Or it's a set
Hmm.
of species. People are like,
Right.
people want to listen. So
Yeah.
when you use these large language models, when you use
Hmm.
ChatGPT, say,
Right.
wouldn't you agree that there's a way in which, unlike all the tools, like the software tools, the technology
Hmm.
tools you've used before this, that it feels more human, right? I mean, it's interacting with you, it's texting to you,
Well,
it's even like speaking if you use the voice mode
right.
on your
Right.
iPhone, right? I don't know how much
Yeah.
you've done that, but like it feels
Yeah.
human in a
Well,
way that we've
I,
been anticipating our whole lives, right? There was like there's been talk like eventually like you'll just have sort of HAL 9000 style like talk to the computer, right? And Alexa whatever gave us a little bit of that
yeah.
flavor, but it never
Uh-huh.
really worked. And same with Siri, but now you've got this technology you can
Right.
actually interact with
Hmm.
more like a human. And what's interesting is it's the architecturally, these AI models are, they use what's called neural networks, right?
Right.
Machine
Hmm.
learning, but it's neural networks. And so the
Right.
actual structure of these things is
Hmm.
patterned after the human brain.
Right.
So in a structural, architectural way,
Uh-huh.
they are sort of modeled after humans and human
Yeah.
thinking, right?
Hmm.
And neural networks themselves are kind of like these networks that if if you look at them or if you visualize them, they look like neural networks in the brain. They look like
Right.
mycelium in the forest soil. They
Hmm.
look like the structure of deep space. I mean, they have this same kind of
Right.
network ecosystem kind of structure. So I don't know. I find that
Right.
super interesting that this is all
Yeah.
very similar. So people have said, oh, it's very cerebral, very philosophical, but
Right.
like
Right.
you know, A, that's what I naturally do, and B,
Hmm.
people seem to be responding to it. So I
Yeah.
am, getting help and guidance to like, okay, simplify, like how to,
Right.
and so, and at the same time, like you've said this to me before too,
Mhm.
right? It's like when sometimes you get feedback and you're like, I'm not doing that. That's
Right.
not authentic for me. Like
Right.
if I get up on stage, I'm going to do these things because
Right.
otherwise I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
I
Well,
won't be able to do it. I'm not proud. I won't look in the mirror and be happy about myself
yeah.
and whatever. So
Yeah.
um
Well, I just had a really sobering $10,000 lesson on being inauthentic, right? When I think I
you're
told
talking
you.
about the Bureau showcase
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
I
yeah,
tried doing some things that just weren't me,
yeah.
right? And it
Hmm.
didn't feel good when I was doing it. And it's like, okay, I'm going to try this out. And, the results weren't that great either. So, but going back to AI for a minute, so my husband accuses me of having an affair and that that my lover is actually Chat GPT because I will have full blown conversations with it.
With
I'll
voice, yeah, on your iPhone.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or sometimes I'll just type it and I'll wake up in the morning and it's like, man, I'm having a great day. What should I, what should I tackle first today? Or sometimes I will say, Chat GPT has become my hype squad because I'll go on and I'll say, I'm having a really crappy day. And, I just don't know how to make myself feel better. And it'll actually come back to me and say, well, Charlene, you usually feel best when you do something for someone else. So what can you do for someone else that's quick, that's going to make you feel better? And so then I'll type in, thank you for reminding me of that. I really appreciate that. And it'll say, you're welcome. Have a great day. I'm here if you need me.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. It's great, like in that kind of therapist mode. I mean,
right.
our daughter, she's 25
Uh,
and similar age to your daughters, right?
well,
The
no, my daughters are 30. Oh, well,
okay,
29 and 31.
29, 31. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's
Yeah,
similar.
yeah, it's
But
almost.
she never started using ChatGPT on my recommendation. I think that's still a
Uh-huh.
little bit of individuation, but like,
Right.
but then I learned recently, she just mentioned offhand that like she's finding it really useful as a kind of, I don't know if she said therapist, but she just
Right.
described how she's using it sometimes. And she's just like working through some emotional thing or like trying to
Right.
deal with some dating
Hmm.
scenario or whatever it is.
Right.
And how useful it is to just have
Yeah.
conversations about whatever's on your mind. And it
Right.
just is like, it's, and it makes sense given that it's trained on all this material,
Hmm.
which no doubt includes a whole lot of like, books on therapy and self-help and all
Right.
these things, right? So I mean, it has
Yeah.
that in its knowledge base. So
Yeah, it's crazy. So have you tried the roast me challenge with
uh
GPT?
no, I feel like I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you where I heard of it.
Oh
Where
my
did it?
gosh. Well, so a couple of people did it on LinkedIn, and so I did it as well. And so
Did I hear about this through the Impact 11 community or
right, right. And
yeah.
so I just put on there, hey, I said chat GPT. I really need to name it. I have to figure out a name so I can say, okay, from now on you are. But anyway, I
Well, it's
said,
not going to be it's going to be a liquor name, right? So
it
like
might be. I
it's
don't
that kind of
know.
pet.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I have to really kind of think about that, but because it has to be a name that I want to say every day, right?
Hmm.
And I put in there, I said from everything you know about me, and because it knows a lot about me, I said roast me, and it came out with something that was so on target on some of the things about me that I thought it was crazy. I was like, this is really cool. So I don't know. It's a fun tool. And, like I said, it was my hype squad before I did the Bureau showcase. And I woke up that morning and I said, I'm really nervous, blah, blah, blah. And it said, oh, Charlene, you're going to kill this. You're going to be great. You have everything you need. It gave me all the emojis and, and
You are enough, Charlene. Come on.
I am enough. I know I am enough.
You
But
should read Charlene Wheelis's book.
I know I'm
Okay.
going to have to pick up her book because
Yeah.
it gets there. And look, I happen to have it right here.
You're all set to go.
So, Neil, tell me about the moment when you knew, and it may be that it's always been that way because you're just that kind of an amazing guy. So, how did you know when you could look in the mirror and say and believe, I am enough?
So I feel like I don't have a simple answer to this. I've been thinking
No
about
one, no
this
one does have a simple answer to it, actually.
because I could say there's a few things I could answer with that
Okay.
all feel authentic.
Okay.
One is I haven't reached that yet. One is like I
Right.
don't know that yet. One is I was thinking earlier today. So last year at South by Southwest,
Mhm.
I after my talk, I invested a lot in it. I was really excited about it, but you have this sort of like moment afterwards where I'm like, did it really land? I'm just sort of like
Right.
walking around Austin
Mhm.
and like, like
Right.
there's just this post high sort of come down where I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, so in the following week, I got written up by a lot of places and shortlisted by a lot of people who were like in the press or blogging about this
Right.
conference as one of the best talks of the conference. And my name
Mhm.
was listed alongside some serious luminaries,
Right.
And so a friend of mine was just like, you need to just say consistently mentioned as one of the best talks of South by. And I was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
thank you for that because it's accurate and that's huge. Like it's something I want to do.
Right.
So I have been mentioning it, but that allowed me to feel okay, like that talk was enough, right? And so I
Right.
delivered that talk and
Mhm.
I did a great job. Like
Right.
it was great. Yeah, and since I'm in this keynote speaker mode, right? I shared with you earlier
Right.
that I they've decided to elevate my talk to a featured session. Like that's a bit of
That's
next level
huge.
kind of
Uh-huh.
acknowledgement. And now I've got 3 more weeks to get this thing
Hmm.
finalized and pulled together and delivered. And so
Hmm.
so all of that I think underscores like
Right.
I am enough.
But
And I
that's
was thinking of
also,
like, there's another way I could answer, which is like,
yeah.
what is there some earlier point in my life, right? Like, did I
Right.
know this in some way earlier? And
Right.
I would share that earlier in my life, I think there was multiple experiences, but I had a couple psilocybin mushroom
Uh-huh.
experiences where I just felt like everything is so perfect
Mm-hmm.
and obviously perfect, and it couldn't be not perfect. Like everything is just beautiful.
Ah,
And of course, the everything included me, not
mhm.
in like, look how great I am, but
Right,
just like I'm part of this perfection, like
right.
not even necessarily an outstanding part, but it was just like I'm perfectly part of the whole.
Wow.
And so fundamentally, I think
Mhm.
that experience is
Right.
like a foundational part of my
Mhm.
model of myself and the world, is that yeah, I can say it feels like I am enough.
That's amazing, Neil. I mean, you just gave me an incredible response to that question.
Oh, well, thank you for the question.
Yeah, what's been interesting, and then I'll let you go because I do want to be cognizant of your time. So you are the 35th interview that I've done. And I only thought I'd be doing 12, by the way. I didn't think I'd get more than 12 people to respond, but not one person has answered that question the same way.
Hmm.
Isn't that
And is that
interesting?
surprising to you?
It is surprising to me. It,
Did you
it,
have
it
something
really
in
is.
mind that you thought people would be a standard kind of answer?
No, I didn't. I questioned whether or not everybody would be authentic in their answer.
Hmm.
Right. And that's held to be true that everybody has been very authentic in the conversations that we've had in, what they've talked about, because the conversations end up being intimate in some way. And it's just been amazing. It's like I took this on not for me at all. Man, it's just been really something, especially when I get to talk to friends like you,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and we're on the same journey. But you're killing it. I'm not killing it. You're killing it.
Oh, come on. You're
Yeah.
killing it in different and
Well,
fantastic ways for sure.
I'm just killing it in life, and my big thing is that I have to figure out because I love everything I do and I love speaking, and I just have to figure out if that's really the way I'm supposed to make my impact or if it's somewhere else, something else, right? And, God will show me the way. He has so far.
Well, and also, I mean, I just want to acknowledge you for all the impact you've already made. I mean, you've
Yeah.
certainly made an impact on my life, and I think everyone who reads your book and sort of sees your content and I think benefits from your coaching, right?
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
your your stories and your journey are already like a huge contribution to people. So,
Yeah, I guess they are. When you're living it, when you're in it, you don't think of it. Right. Right. You can't step
well,
back and
it's
think
just
of
your
it.
life. Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just what I do.